You don't travel Japan, you switch realities. This country shouldn't exist in one map, but it does. 10 worlds, one country. Which one would you live in? Number 1, Teru, Mount Fuji. This is Japan's most perfect natural symmetry.
Its near-perfect cone shape is formed by repeated volcanic activity over thousands of years.
This reflection doubles the geometry of the mountain. The summit remains snow-covered for most of the year. Every angle still preserves visual balance. Here, scale is defined by distance, not complexity. The base of Fuji blends into forest and agricultural land. Cloud layers often cut across the mountain's midsection. At midday, geometry becomes fully legible. Even from distance, its symmetry remains dominant. As the sun lowers, Fuji becomes warmer in tone. This is why it ranks number 1, then Ho, absolute visual balance in nature. Fuji is not just a mountain, Kawa. It is a reference point for harmony. Even in darkness, its presence remains structural. This is Japan's visual axis Tau, where nature defines perfection. Number 2, Todao. Tokyo, a city where 20 million people move as one synchronized system. This is not chaos. This is controlled flow. Every movement here follows invisible timing rules. Vertical density defines the skyline. The city builds upward instead of outward. Public transport is the circulatory system of the city. Even commercial space follows strict order. Information density is part of the environment. This is not a city, the Tao. It is a living system. At midday, the system slows but never stops. You are inside the flow, not outside it. Even sunlight becomes part of the architecture. This is why it ranks number 2, Ta, absolute density controlled by invisible order. At night, the system becomes visible as light. Tokyo is not built, it is continuously operating. Number 3, Haiden, Kyoto. This is where time doesn't stop, it slows down. The city preserves architectural continuity across centuries. Every street feels intentionally unchanged. Nature here is structured, not wild. Even Even movement becomes part of the environment. Religious structures define the city's vertical limit. In Kyoto, time doesn't disappear, it stays in place.
Waterways act as quiet separators of districts.
Here, silence is an architectural feature. At midday, the city remains visually soft. The city is enclosed by natural boundaries. As the sun lowers, everything becomes warmer, but unchanged. This is why it ranks number 3, fall. A living museum of time. Kyoto is not frozen. It is continuously preserved. In Kyoto, time doesn't disappear, it stays in place.
Number 4, Tenten.
The forest is organized by repetition rather than randomness. Movement here is guided by narrow spatial constraints. Light becomes a structural element inside the forest. Perspective compresses the forest into infinite height. Here, human scale becomes irrelevant. Repetition creates visual silence. Even movement here follows rhythm. At midday, the forest remains evenly lit. Depth is created through repetition, not distance. The ground mirrors the structure above. As the sun lowers, the forest becomes warmer, but still vertical. This is why it ranks number 4, the power. Nature stripped down to pure geometry. Arashiyama is not a forest. It is a vertical meditation space. Number 5, Dengham, Osaka. This is Japan's purest street-level energy system. Light, motion, and food culture converge into one street network.
Every frame here is in motion.
Crowd density is high, but movement is coordinated. Food is part of the visual landscape.
Information overload is structured by zoning.
You are inside the current, not outside it. Even in daylight, movement never stops. Cooking here is fast, precise, and repetitive. Water doubles the intensity of the city. As the sun lowers, the city transitions seamlessly into neon mode. This is where rhythm becomes light. At night, Osaka becomes a kinetic system of energy. Everything here is designed for movement. Nature is integrated into memory spaces. Movement here naturally slows down. Number 6, Geikyo, Hiroshima. A city defined not by chaos, but by memory. This is a rebuilt city with intentional openness. Waterways structure the city's calm rhythm. This space is designed for reflection, not motion. Movement here naturally slows down. The layout encourages stillness. Nature is integrated into memory spaces. Even water feels restrained here. The city layers modern life over preserved memory. As the sun lowers, the city feels even quieter. This is why it ranks number 6, Phong, a city that remembers instead of shouts. Here, silence is not emptiness, it is structure. Number 7, Hangyo, Sapporo, a city built for winter, not against it.
The city is designed with a strict grid system to handle heavy snowfall.
Snow becomes part of the urban structure.
Urban planning here prioritizes function over density.
Architecture adapts to seasonal weight. Motion slows down naturally under environmental pressure. At midday, everything becomes evenly illuminated. Vertical scale is intentionally controlled. Even in cold, the system remains precise. Open spaces are essential in winter cities. This is when Sapporo becomes visually silent. This is why it ranks number 7, Holland, a city designed to coexist with extreme cold. At night, warmth exists only through light. The boundary between human and animal space is intentionally blurred. Historical structures remain central to the city's layout. Movement is shared, not separated. Nature is not preserved behind fences. It is present in motion.
Animal behavior.
At midday, coexistence becomes most visible. Here, history and life overlap. Architecture and nature are not competing. As the sun lowers, harmony becomes more visible. This is why it ranks number 8, Tao, a system of shared existence. Nara is not controlled nature. The Tao, it is negotiated nature. The water clarity here reveals the seabed even at shallow depth. Movement here is slow. The island structure is defined by water in all directions. The horizon feels closer and calmer here.
Vegetation here adapts to salt and wind.
At midday, the ocean becomes a mirror of light. Color gradients are naturally layered by depth. Distance is perceived through water tone, not landform. As the sun lowers, the ocean becomes warmer in tone. This is why it ranks number 9, all a fall, a full environmental reset. Okinawa is not an escape. Instead, it is a soft transition space. Here, Japan breathes differently. The steep roofs are designed to withstand heavy snowfall. Form follows climate here. Movement is slow, deliberate, and quiet. Water defines the village's central axis. This is architecture shaped by centuries of repetition. As the sun lowers, the village feels like a living painting. This is why it ranks number 10, Ofaral, a world preserved outside of time. At night, warmth exists only inside memory-like light. Shirakawa-go is...
This wasn't a trip, it was a system of reality shift.
Before you book a flight, save this. Because Japan is not one destination. Gao, it's 10. The most dangerous thing about Japan is how easily it resets your expectations of reality. Every region feels like a different planet. After this, the world doesn't feel new anymore. It feels smaller.